Welcome all my dear friends. In this video, we are going to see seismic analysis procedures and their design guidelines. So there are basically 4 different analysis procedure in the earthquake analysis. We will see one by one. There are 2 static, 2 dynamic, linear static, non-linear static, linear dynamic and non-linear dynamic. So let's see one by one. Linear static analysis, this method also known as equivalent static method. So according to the code, you can use this method while analysis of regular structure. Second, when the natural time period TA is less than 0.4 second. And if we are going to talk about the specification of the building, then the height is less than 15 meter and then building should be in the zone 2, then you can use this equivalent static method. You might have solved these problems in the course earthquake resisting building. Here you can see AH is Z by 2, I by R, SA by G. Then you calculate VB is equal to AH into W. This means equivalent static method, which comes in linear static analysis. What we do in this method, first we design base shear VB and then we distribute it on various floor level. As you can see here, we have calculated VB first and then we distribute this over the whole building. Okay, let's see second, non-linear static analysis. So this method is widely known as pushover analysis. So now look carefully what we do in pushover analysis. This method is used to estimate force and displacement capacities of the structure. Okay, in this sequence of failure of element you can find and their consequent effect on overall structural stability you can find. Let's see in detail. So what we do in pushover analysis, we give lateral load, we increase the lateral load monotonically. That means we increase the lateral load on the building step by step till the target displacement or building collapse. Okay, so that means we increase it step by step. So we get the sequence of failure of element and their effect on overall structural stability. Because of that, you can identify the critical regions where inelastic deformations are expected to be high. Okay, so pushover analysis, you get one graph, that is pushover curve, which is on x-axis there is roof displacement, on y-axis there will be base shear, and that graph is known as pushover curve. Okay, few more things are there, you just take a overlook. That capacity spectrum, demand spectrum and performance point. In simple word, capacity spectrum means the capacity of the structure to resist seismic demand. Means capacity, means you can say it's my capacity that up to this level I can resist. Demand means it's nothing but the representation of the earthquake ground motion. Okay, from capacity we will get one graph, from demand spectrum we will get another graph, and performance point means intersection point of demand spectrum and capacity spectrum. Means when these two graphs you will merge, then there will be one point of intersection and that point of intersection will be known as performance point. You can go in detail and see what is performance point and what are their advantages or benefits. So there are actually 2 approaches to calculate target displacement. One is displacement coefficient method and second is capacity spectrum method. We will not go in detail, we are just taking an overlook on all the 4 processes and where you can use. Now we have finished static analysis. Now we will see the dynamic analysis. Now first one is linear dynamic analysis. this method known as response spectrum method. Let's see where you can use this. Generally this response spectrum method can be used anywhere, but code has given some guidelines that for regular building, one thing I forgot, regular and irregular building means definition of regular building and definition of irregular building is given in IS 1893. So you please go and check what is the meaning of regular building and what is the meaning of irregular building. Okay, let's see where you can use the response spectrum method. For regular building, when the height is greater than 40 meter and that building is situated in zone 4 and 5, you can use response spectrum. When the building height is greater than 90 meter and that building is located in zone 2 and 3, means height increases, zone less. For irregular building, all frame building higher than 12 meter in zone 4 and 5, and for greater than 40 meter, zone 2 and 3. So these are some criteria where you can use this response spectrum method. Another important thing, by response spectrum method you will calculate design base shear VB. Okay, now calculate the design base shear VB dash by using static analysis. Okay, now compare these to VB. Okay, if VB by dynamic analysis is less, then all the response quantities like member forces, displacement, story shear, base reaction and whatever, you should multiply this quantity by this ratio, base shear by static divided by base shear by dynamic. You have to multiply by this ratio. This is the codal provision. You can find it on 7.7.3 of IS 1893. Okay, so in response spectrum method, response spectrum means what? Okay, it is nothing but the graph of responses versus its time period, or you can call it as a frequency. Now one question may arise, what is a response? Let's see. Response means displacement, velocity, acceleration. Like these are the graphs. Okay, here I have just taken the screenshot of 2, but there is a displacement versus time period also. So you can see on y-axis there is a velocity, on x-axis there is time period. So in response spectrum method there is only peak response is considered, means here you can see for 0.05 peak response is only taken. For time period 1, what is the peak response? That is only considered in response spectrum method. Okay, so remember one thing, that in response spectrum method only peak response for that particular time period is considered, and which is important I think while designing or for the building. So while response spectrum method, in response spectrum method there are 3 methods. Here you can see the commonly used method for obtaining peak response quantity of interest, that is displacement, shear and building for multiple degree of freedom system. There are 3 methods for calculating the peak response. These methods are absolute sum method, square root sum of squares, complete quadratic combination. You might have heard this method. These methods are used to obtain peak response. Okay. Now last, nonlinear dynamic analysis. So this method is known as time history analysis. Okay. So to perform such a method, a representative earthquake time history is required for structure being evaluated. Means data must be required of that ground motion. Okay, what they do in this case, in this method, they derive mathematical model of building, and that mathematical model of building is get subjected to acceleration from earthquake record. Okay, So in this method, step by step direct integration is done over the time interval. Actually, the response spectrum method is derived from time history analysis. Okay, so difference between a response spectrum method and time history analysis is time history analysis you can do only on particular locations where data is available, and in response spectrum you can do on all places, and in response spectrum method only peak response is considered, while in time history analysis that title itself explain time history means every response is considered. So that is the basic of uh, earthquake analysis procedures. I hope you have understood few of the points and basic concepts involved in earthquake analysis. Thank you, and like the and subscribe Real Civil YouTube channel. Thank you.